Alright, so let me show you what I've been up to for the last week or so. I've been still here in North Carolina working out of the house here, and my daughter and son-in-law and granddaughter. And right now I'm in the garage, and it's actually pretty chilly out here. I think it's probably in the 40s right now in the garage. We've had some nice weather, but now we're into some cold weather. So you can look around here. I was telling you I was in the paint booth. That's actually the paint booth behind all that cabinetry right there. And that's where we're going to be here in a little bit. But right now I'm out here on the workbench. One of the workbenches. I've got motorcycle motors here. I got about anything you can think of in this garage. My son-in-law's into a lot of different things. Got an engine here on the floor for his truck. Got a baby stroller for the new baby that's coming along. Got some antenna crap over there. Anyway, like I say, I got a boat motor over there he'd been working on. He's got a little bit of everything going on. Anyhow, I wanted to show you what I've been doing, and I've been working on this BR44 comparator that they're basically cannot find any information online really. I was pretty lucky though, because it actually came with the paperwork that actually has the operating instructions. No schematic, but we took care of that. So let me show you what I did. After I kind of disassembled it some I could get into it, I did my scribbly scrabbly wiring diagram based on everything that I found as I was taking it apart and chasing where the wires all went. And that's what I got, 3 pages of chicken scratching for all that. Then I went on to paint in my computer, and I created a wiring diagram. Try to get this thing where you guys can see it. Not a wiring diagram, a wiring schematic. I put it on here as best I could electrically. Now I'm not an electrical engineer, but I did the best I could, and I've triple and quadruple checked it, and I'm pretty sure it's all correct per the way it is, the way I received it. I'll zoom in here a little bit. So I know I'm not holding this camera worth a darn. I see the reflection of the overhead lights in here. Let me see if I can scroll this over here a little bit. Yeah, this is a touchscreen computer, so you got to kind of watch what you're doing here. There we go, scrolling over. So it's basically got 3 tubes. It's got the SD7 GT tube, which they're using as the tube to rectify the DC power. And then of course we got the 6E5I tube, and then on the other side of the screen, as you guys probably saw a little bit earlier here, I get it, scroll over, we got the 6SH7 GT tube in here as well. And that's it for the tubes. And so like I said, I quit drawing on it. Disregard that I drew on it. Scroll down. So I tried to make this schematic as legible and precise as possible. I'm not an artist, and I'm in Microsoft Paint, so it's not like I can do a whole heck of a lot with it. But I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I think from an electrical standpoint, it represents pretty well. Now, I got to give credit to Bob. You all know Bob, because a few of these resistors, and actually it's more like a couple of the resistors and a couple of the capacitors, were so old that the markings had come off of them. And Bob worked with me and kind of determined which values he thought would be appropriate for what this thing's doing. So I certainly can't take the credit for the missing values, but Bob helped me with that. But that's what I've been working on. So now that I've actually got a schematic for this thing, it's great. In the future I'll have that. And now I'm getting ready to work on the actual cabinet. And let me take you over there and show what's up with that. Again, sorry for the glare. I guess I could have done that. That was pretty stupid I didn't do that. Anyhow, let's get you over there. Alright, so here's the comparator. It's the way it's right now. I haven't really disassembled much, just to disassemble enough that I could trace the wires and everything. But I'm not going to actually change any components or any of that sort of stuff until I get back to the workshop where all my tools are and supplies and tube testers and all that. But I have got it out of that box, and I took the feet off the box, which is what you see here, and got the lid off the box. I've cleaned it up some, but I'm planning on fixing some of the damage. This is material, and I probably shouldn't paint it, but I'm going to try and do a light coat of paint on it and see how that works out. It might not work out worth a darn, but I'm going to try it. And the main reason I'm going to try it is because I got to take the latches and such off anyway because they're rusty, and the box itself is not great. So let me show you that. Alright, so this is the box, and you can see I got the feet off. It's really faded because you can see where the feet were. It's a much darker brown. That's the other reason I'm kind of wanting to try and get it closer to what it was. There's a little bit of texture on here. I don't know how the paint's gonna, if it'll make it debond or whatever. But there's like torn blemishes like here, and on this side you can see quite a bit of damage on there, and where it's lifting and such. I want to glue all that down and try and fix some of the damaged areas. Also need to get these off because I want to try and do something with this, try and make it look a little bit better, and get the rust off. And then I'm going to try and preserve the way this looked inside, the 216 and such, so I'm going to mask this off. Down inside this back half is pretty cruddy, so I'm probably going to try and throw some paint in that. But that's what I'm getting ready to do. I bought some flexible hold glue that I'm going to try and put some of this fabric back down with. And then I had some of this back home that I didn't bring with me because I didn't know I was going to have this, but I got some glazing spot putty that I'm going to try and fix the damaged areas with. So getting ready to do that, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I'm back in the paint booth, and I've got a little heater running in here because it's pretty freaking cold out here. So if that's what you hear in the background, it's the heater running. And over here I'll show you what I'm doing. So I'm in the process trying to get these rivets out. I got that one out. And I only need to get one out on each side enough. I can bend that up enough to get that handle out, because then I'll just mask off and paint the rest of it. But I'm trying to get those out. Let me show you what they are. So that's what it is. It's like a split rivet type thingy that the legs go in there and then they bend them over. You can see where I got the one out right there, and I'm in the process of getting this one out. I got one of the legs straightened. I got to get the other one straightened, and then maybe I can get it out. I already got the two hinges off the back. Let's see what I can do from here. Okay, so I got the one out, and I'm working on this one right here, and you can see inside it. You probably can't because there's not enough light. They're basically little tabs sticking up, and I had to dig underneath them with a skinny awl, and I pried them up, and then I can get it pried out. So that's what I'm in the process of doing right here, right now. You guys can see this. I know the lighting's not fantastic. I came in underneath here and lifted it, and it let it get up enough that I can get my screwdriver underneath it now and lift up on each side carefully and get it kind of where I can hopefully get it pulled out with these pliers without damaging it. It's coming, I think. Alright, as you guys see, it's that split rivet. So, we got that out. Now I'm hoping that I can bend these up enough without damaging this to get this handle out. I don't know if I can do that on camera where you guys can see it or not. This tripod is not my normal tripod. This is my son-in-law's tripod, and it's not quite the height that it needs to be, so I'm kind of working a little handicapped here, but I think this might work just enough that I can get that out of there like that. Like the one side, the other side. I would love to be able to get all of these latches off so I could polish them. Unfortunately, the way this thing is made, it's got a lip around here. I really don't want to take this lip off inside the case here. It's probably glued and nailed both, and probably not going to be worth it to try and get those off. So I'm thinking I'm just going to, when I paint this, I'm going to mask those, and then I'll mask around them and try and get them painted. I don't know how it'll turn out, but we're going to give it a shot. Anyway, I got that off now, so now I'm just going to start cleaning this up. Got some bubbling going on right here. So I bought the glue. I was hoping I could get some injected underneath there, maybe, I don't know. But, I don't know. It might turn out, it might not. It's got a big gouge and damage here that I gotta fill. So, see what I can do. I'll bring you back. Yeah, I'm not sure how this is gonna turn out, but I'll show you what I've been doing. I've been using some spot putty in some of the bad places. I've glued some pieces down that were loose, and kind of put some on there. I gotta sand it down. The base was much worse. A big old section here, that one side I showed you. So I got, you can still see it's low, but I haven't sanded that down. It'll still be low. I'll probably take 2 coats of the spot putty. And but I mean, this is material. It's not going to look perfect, that's for sure. I'm just trying to make it presentable. Make it presentable without trying to change too much of it from original. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I've already decided that on the hinges, where it uses these little bitty, I thought they were nails, but they're not. They're kind of like a rivet type thing. Split rivet like the thing I was showing you. I think I'm going to go ahead and use little tiny wood screws on those, because it needs a little bit more strength on it, I think, than the rivet. So see what I can find at the lumber yard. Now these were black originally. The parts in the front don't look like they were black, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with those. Like this piece. I don't know if that was originally brass looking, or if it was like nickel looking, or what that was, but we're gonna, I don't know, I'm not sure how I'm gonna finish it. I might just clean it up and clear coat it after I get everything done. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, I thought I'd show you guys the cabinet for this BR44. I'm pretty much done with it other than the handle. It turned out really well. I'm pretty pleased with it. It's got a couple, 3 coats of the brown paint and a couple of coats of clear on it, satin clear. So it's not super shiny, which I didn't want super shiny. I wanted it to still look like a cloth top, which you get close, you can see it still has the cloth pattern in it. Front turned out pretty decent. The latches were pretty rusty, but they weren't black, they weren't painted, so I wanted to try and keep them as original as possible, and I didn't want to try and drill those rivets out. I managed to get the lower rivets out and save them, and I think I can reuse them. The handle itself is another story. I've tried to redo it, and it's not coming out very well. I just got through ordering some brown leather. That will be enough to make this one, and I think I'll make another new handle for the 070 signal generator that I completed last month. I think I'm going to make a new one for that in brown, considering it was originally brown. So anyway, let's take a look at this. I got the hinges all redone on it. So I tried to keep everything as original as possible, and so I clear coated the inside. I didn't change any of the markings or anything in it, and the stain that was originally applied when they made this thing inside the pocket here, I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, light's not, there we go, a little bit like that. So I just clear coated that again too, cleaned it and clear coated it so it's the original stain. So I was going to restain it, and I was like, you know, it's fine, I'm just going to clear coat it. The two screws standing up down there are on the bottom, hold the transformer. The lid and the material in the lid is still all original. I shot it with clear coat. There's a little marking there, but that was already there. I just left it alone. A little opening there, I left that alone. A couple of marks. Still got to keep the originality as much as possible, but it's clear coated and it's protected, and no longer stinks like mold, mildew, and worse. It now just smells like new paint. So that's that. Turn it around. So I turned it around. Here's the back. I redid the hinges as far as I resprayed them. They were black. They were black paint and rust. So I cleaned them all up, and I sprayed them with almost like an antique bronze. It's supposed to look like metal type paint. I think they turned out pretty good. I'm happy. I think that goes good with the brown paint. And now I'll show you the bottom. So here's the bottom. Turned out really good. There's a mark that was in the original cloth, and I left it alone. And it's got new feet. I was going to reuse the old feet. Unfortunately, the old feet basically blew up when I tried to reinstall them. And I painted these heads of these screws the same as the hardware that's on the back. I'll show you the feet here. So there's the remnants of the feet. Basically, the rubber was as hard as bakelite, and when I tried to reinstall them, as you can see, they were nail in, and I pushed them as far as I could, and then I took a little hammer and tried to smack them the rest of the way, and they just basically disintegrated. So I got the feet I got are for use on a cutting board to screw in, and they look good. They're the same height and width as what was on there, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to set the actual electronic assembly into the case and probably screw it in, because until I get back to the workshop I can't restore it electrically. This is the original handle. It was so dry rotted. I tried fixing it. I bent it and I added super glue in areas of it that were cracked, and completely lathered it with some leather conditioner, and it would work. This is the bottom. The bottom looks okay. I could put it on upside down, but I don't know, I'm not real thrilled with it. I just got through ordering a piece of thick leather, buffalo hide leather, and big enough that I can make this piece and one for the signal generator, the Philco signal generator. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll have that material before I get back to the workshop, so I should be able to put a handle on it prior to that. So let me put this thing in there and you can kind of see where I'm at right now. Okay, so I set it back in the case. I don't have the actual attachment screws on the corners down yet because they are brass and I want to polish those when I get back to the workshop. But you can see how nice it cleaned up. I get the angle so you guys can see it better on the squeaky floor. But it cleaned up really, really nice, and I think it looks pretty good in there. I still got to clean up my knobs And I still got to straighten that flat piece that is actually the pointer. So, but no, I think this thing's turned out really nice. I'm really happy with it thus far. So, we'll take it from here.